In a perfect world, all sister relationships would look like something out of a sappy Disney movie. Think about it for a minute, sharing clothes, inside jokes, and silly but harmless pranks on parents. In reality, though, they can be some of the toughest relationships to navigate. Think about it. This is someone who you've known for pretty much your entire life. She knows what motivates you, what makes you tick, and what absolutely gets under your skin. And sometimes, if she's a toxic person, she uses that knowledge against you. Read on for 9 signs you might have a toxic sister, plus some therapist-approved methods for improving the situation. Welcome back to Knowledge and Human 33 with another interesting video to understand our relationships. She has to be right. Your good younger or eldest sis has hated, disliked every person you've ever dated, having close relationship, and it's starting to feel like no one is going to be good enough. She has similar opinions about your career goals, friends, and pretty much everything else. If you've articulated that you're happy with your life and the people in it, and she still won't stay out of your business, then your relationship with your sister could be toxic. Solution for the situation. You should minimizing what you share with your sister if you know she can't be supportive. You can also set clear boundaries about what you desire from a conversation. That can sound like, I need to talk to you about my dating life. I just need a listening ear, not advice. Are you able to listen without giving advice? She's manipulative. People behavior, nonverbal cues tell a lot about their behaviors. When a non-toxic person asks a question, hey, want to come over next week? They don't have any ulterior motives. When a toxic person asks you a question, though, they might be setting a trap. Are you free for dinner tomorrow at 7? If you aren't free for dinner tomorrow at 7, I'll be mad at you for the rest of the week. Their modus operandi is to get people to do what they want them to do, says Abigail Brenner, MD in Psychology Today. It's all about them. They use other people to accomplish whatever their goal happens to be. Forget what you want. This is not about equality in a relationship. Far from it. When you notice a manipulative pattern, it's helpful to name it in a kind way by expressing how it impacts you to be put in those situations. Brako Owusu says, this can sound like, when you schedule a time for dinner without consulting me, it makes me feel unimportant and not valued. Let them know what you are able to do and leave it at that. You cannot take on their emotions or control how they react to you. She doesn't respect boundaries. You love your little sister, but she's always had a hard time knowing her place. She's made a habit of showing up at your house, unannounced, expecting to be able to stay for dinner. Because you love her, you give in. But even after asking her to stop popping in without calling, she continues to do it. Solve it. You have to refuse to participate in arguments or discussion with her. Be clear on your boundaries and the consequences that will come if they aren't respected. Brako Usu advises. For example, say, I would like you to let me know before you come over. If you don't let me know, I will not answer the door and we will need to reschedule your visit. It is sometimes not enough to simply say, please don't come over unannounced. She felt superior or playing the victim. Sometimes family members can't help but guilt trip each other. What do you mean you aren't coming home for Thanksgiving? But there's a difference between expressing disappointment and creating a toxic environment by blaming everyone else for their feelings. If your sister refuses to talk to you for a week because you've decided to spend next Thanksgiving with friends, you could be in toxic territory. Solve it. Become more aware about her behavior and temperament. Never react in front of her, but consciously choose to respond her. Give her less power to have long and serious discussion with you. Take a moment to journal about the way your family uses guilt and shame to meet their needs. Awareness of this is key. One thing that will help is becoming okay with big reactions around you saying no. This isn't a healthy family dynamic, but you also may not be able to change your family dynamic while behaving as equal person, rather than younger or the eldest. What's best for me right now? I already have plans to do X. If I have time, I will stop by. I hate to miss it this time, but I've already made my plans. Everything is a competition. Every time you call her to talk about a promotion at work or a potty training breakthrough with your kid, she inevitably steers the conversation to be about her illustrious career or her parenting wins. Any healthy relationship should be a two-way street. And if your sister is incapable of celebrating your wins, big or small, it's a sign that there's an issue. Modification of behavior. Bishop recommends having a conversation if you think your sister would be open to it. Say something like, your support is important to me. I don't want to feel like we're competing. I'm happy to celebrate your wins as well. I would really love your support to look like. Be specific about what you need here. What can I do to celebrate your wins too? Everything is always about her. You just got off a 45-minute phone call with your twin only to realize that she didn't ask you a single question about your life or how you're doing. If she was dealing with an important issue or had some exciting news, that's one thing. But it shouldn't happen pretty much every time you talk. Behavior modification. Try to take note of the patterns you observe when communicating with her. Then recommend sharing what you're experiencing. Try something like, "I'm glad you are comfortable sharing with me. I'm realizing we don't often get around to talking about what's going on in my life. Have you noticed that?" According to Vinal, this gives your sister a clear reason why you might drop the frequency of communication and maybe gives her an opportunity to change. If your sister simply isn't capable of or interested in reciprocity in your relationship, be sure you are carving out time to cultivate deep relationships with surrogate sisters. Everyone needs a confidant and a friend willing and able to hold space for them. There are always strings attached. Sure, your sis will pick up your kids from school, but you'll never hear the end of how lucky you are to have her help, followed by an immediate request to reorganize her closet. We're not suggesting our family members should do every little thing for us, but you should be able to ask for a favor without having her hold it over your head, or immediately ask for something unreasonable in return. Let's solve it. Don't allow yourself to be manipulated by passive-aggressive behavior and contingency-based relationships. This means your new best friend is a one-letter word: no. If you can't help out this time, that's okay. And if you find yourself the one needing assistance, be intentional about building outside relationships with friends who will have your back unconditionally. Be sure to be toward others the sort of person you need as well, showing up for them with what you have to give with no expectation or demand of tit-for-tat reciprocity. 3 ways to cope if you have a toxic sister. By pick your battles, so sometimes it's worth agreeing to disagree. Though sisters are often similar in many ways, you have to remember that you're each your own person. You and your sister might have totally different ideas about careers, relationships, and parenting. And that's fine. It's important to identify the areas where neither of you is likely to change your mind and agree to respect the other's opinion without judgment or hostility. By trying the gray rock method. We first discovered this handy trick on psychologist Nadine van der Linden's blog, Unshakable Calm. In a nutshell, it's a tool to prevent toxic people from escalating a situation. Act as boring, uninteresting, and disengaged as possible, and toxic people will find it less exciting to try to manipulate you and choose another target. During every interaction with the toxic person, the trick is to speak in a neutral voice. Talk about boring subjects. Don't make eye contact and give short, generic answers. And if the toxic person tries to get a rise out of you, don't engage emotionally. Find out more about the gray rock method here. Have a go-to phrase on standby. We get it. Dealing with a toxic family member is tough and you never know what's going to set them off. That's why it's useful to have a phrase or two handy that you can repeat whenever they give you unsolicited advice or ask you to do something. For the former, we like the phrase, "You may be right." And for the later, try, "I have to think about it." Here's how it works. Sister, I need you to plan a birthday party for me. I have to think about it. I have a lot of things going on in the next couple of weeks and need to see if that's doable for me. Hope you will start enjoying all your relationship and become part of healthy relationship.